recently I was texting my cousin, the baseball player Adam Frazier, but he was talking to me about the Dopey Challenge. I told him that my sister didn't get to start the last day, and Blair made it about 6 miles into the marathon, and he was like, I probably would have been with Blair. I don't know if I would have made it 6 miles. And I was just like, well, I don't think any of the rest of us could hit a curveball off of Clayton Kershaw. So you got us there.
What happens when three runners
from different parts of the country
with different running stories
all get together?
Pure
RunTok
madness.
So listen in as we talk about all things running related.
And some things that maybe aren't running related.
As it's bound to be a good time. This is
RunTok Live.
Okay, welcome to the episode number 47. Did I really just say that? But hey,
you did.
Whatever. We're here. This is the 47th episode of the RunTok Live podcast. How you guys doing?
Hosted by the Chase Adams and the Carolyn McDuff-Levingway and the Jacob Irwin.
Right.
Oh man!
Just a heads up, we've been having some technical difficulties on our end, so we might have to splice this one, or this may become another lost episode. We don't know, but yeah, we're gonna wing it here today, and we're gonna talk about some fun stuff. But what have you guys been up to? It's been a couple weeks.
Well, I want to call out one thing that I'm super excited about right now that I don't think this has happened in the history of our RunTok Live recordings. All three of us are wearing hats. And Carolyn doesn't wear hats.
No, it's happened before, or maybe one time one or you or I. It's not the first time Carolyn's wore a hat. I know that.
But it's the first time on camera. The only time she did it before, we made her do it. We're like, oh, we want to see what you look like with a hat on, and she put it on and then took it off.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure she's wore a hat for a whole episode before. Carolyn, am I right on that?
I don't know. Maybe it's one episode, like when we first started.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't. It definitely doesn't happen often.
No,
but Carolyn's not the hat person that me and Jake are. So
no,
yeah.
And it's not an
Jake and I. You can always bet on us wearing our backwards hats. I was actually told one time when I did a race without a hat on that I was not allowed to do that anymore because they couldn't recognize me. So.
That's how I am with my glasses. I've had people say that because sometimes I'll take my glasses off because they fog up and I start running and they're like, I didn't realize that was you, so I didn't take a picture. I was like, yeah, it's me. It's just I'm not Clark Kent. Like I'm the same person when I put my glasses on and off. But I guess I see the appeal. So
I mean, I get it. It's different. Anytime you look at somebody a certain way for so long, then they lose a feature. It's hard to recognize sometimes.
Yeah. Well,
Carolyn, I can't believe you run with your glasses on. Like I don't know that I could do that. I guess you have to learn to adapt, right? Like that's
I really am blind without my glasses, and I can't wear contacts. So there are times, especially in Florida, because it gets so humid here that I have no choice but to take my glasses off and just hope that I don't step in a hole somewhere. Like that's really what it boils down to, because it gets your glasses fog up instantly. Like it gets brutal.
Well, didn't y'all just?
I don't know. Or do you guys wear glasses at all or contacts? Like I do not. So yes, Florida got snow, which was weird, right? Where I live, we did not get any snow. We got like heavy rain, and it got cold. It got down to the low 20s. So, but yeah, no snow. Thank you, Jesus. Because I don't like that stuff.
Starting to melt. It's been around since I came down to Florida, like since the days before I came to Florida for Disney, and finally starting to melt for us.
Do they, like where you live, Chase, do they plow enough like on the sides of the roads where you could like runners can still run, or like is it safe to run there in the wintertime?
Side roads, not so much. Like main roads, anything that's like open, they do well enough that the sun can kind of finish off the job later. But Yeah, like a lot of side roads, especially if like you're in town. If you try going down the side roads, it can be a little slick, but they do a pretty good job. I mean, I ran a few times, and I've ran in like the snow before though, with it not being plowed. So I enjoy it. Like that's kind of like my favorite time to run, when there's just powdery snow on the ground all the time.
No, that's where you and I will never be alike, Chase.
I just feel like I could be out there forever. Like when I'm doing a run, like in the snow, it's like I could just run forever. It's ridiculous.
Carolyn, snow or hot summer heat? What are you choosing?
I'd have to go snow, honestly. Only because
No, I thought I knew you.
it's only because this past summer Texas was terrible. It wasn't 100 degrees every day, but it was just under that, and it was hot, humid, and I was like, you know what? I can't believe it, but I want snow. So I don't know. And it's like it was in the 70s today.
Yeah, no snow for me.
I feel you, but it was 70 degrees today in Dallas, and I was like, it's January. Like I want to complain about the snow. I don't want to complain about the heat. So
here's where I am, and I'm a hypocrite. Ask me in the summertime and ask me in the wintertime. Because in the summertime, I'm like, oh, I hate this so much. This is so brutal.
yeah.
But in the wintertime, I'm like, dude, bring me the heat back. I want it back. So I'm the ultimate hypocrite. I acknowledge that. You guys can all call me out on it too. It's okay. But so I have to say, before we dive into some of the updates and some of the races that just took place, I was just at a run group a couple hours ago, and a friend of mine, her name's Lily, if she's listening, hi Lily, she told me that she listened to our podcast for the first time. She listened to the last episode 46, when she was out running. And she was telling my wife how, she goes, this is what she was telling my wife. She was telling my wife, I thought I knew running until I listened to their podcast. And she said they were talking about shoes and brands and numbers and sizes and just things that I had never heard of before. And the Dopey Challenge, I didn't even know that Dopey Challenge was a thing. She goes, I feel dumb now. And I was like, well, I don't know if that was our intention, but hopefully you learned something from the podcast.
Right.
Too.
I mean, ultimately, that's what we want, right? Is like those. And I don't know how much of a beginner runner Lily is, or how long she's been doing it, but like we try to help those people, like Jake and I have a lot of experience. We've been doing it since we were kids. And Carolyn's been doing it for the last few years. She did a run streak that's really long. So the point is that we've all been through our paces. We've all been through, the things that everybody goes through as runners. We've all been through it. So we've got the stories, and we've got the experience, and the knowledge, I guess, if you want to call it that. I feel weird saying that I got knowledge, but
hey, knowledge from experience is the best knowledge you can get, So
yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it was hilarious, and the way she worded it, I feel dumb now.
Well, thanks for tuning in, Lily. We appreciate we appreciate you listening to our podcasts. We appreciate any of the new subscribers. Right? Like we had a few of them new this past week, thanks to Jake throwing some stuff up on social media. So any of the new subscribers, definitely comment all your questions and stuff, but we appreciate y'all.
Heck yeah. And I will tell you too, speaking of Lily, her husband, who's a little bit more into running, he did the Honolulu marathon, which was not too long ago. So they're from Hawaii. They moved here from Hawaii. And he did that, and he was sending me some videos while he was running of like the hills, because he's told me the hills, and then he showed me the elevation chart. That looks like a tough marathon, in all honesty. I'd still want to do it, but
yeah, I mean, go to Hawaii, right?
Yeah, oh, for sure. But Carolyn,
what time of year is it on though? Like, is it hot and humid during that race?
They're just recently. It was a couple of months ago.
Yeah. And it was like 70 degrees and super humid the whole time.
And then it's hilly. It's hilly
Right.
throughout.
So
Yeah.
now we're starting to sound like it's not necessarily one though. I'm sure it's beautiful though.
It is apparently.
And then I have one more thing. This is, if we choose if we ever do a segment, let's do like a random text message segment. So this is a random text message that I got from a runner friend of mine. And the random text message says, I've been thinking about it, and I think I should get a milk carton costume so I can try to set the record for fastest 15K race dressed as a dairy product. That's the random text message I got from my friend John.
How did you reply? Did you reply with what is the current record?
Well, I replied with, and I said, and the double whammy to this is you don't eat dairy, you're lactose intolerant, and this would be the ultimate burn towards the dairy industry. So, but yeah, fun text.
Oh man,
I don't know that I get fun texts like that. Mine are usually all family or sports related. So for my text message recently, I was texting my cousin, the baseball player Adam Frazier. Saw a news article that he might be going back to Pittsburgh, so good luck with that, Pittsburgh and Adam. But he was talking to me about the dopey challenge. I told him that my sister didn't get to start the last day, and Blair made it about 6 miles into the marathon, and he was like, I probably would have been with Blair. I don't know if I would have made it 6 miles. And I was just like, well, I don't think any of the rest of us could hit a curveball off of Clayton Kershaw. So you got us there.
Let's backtrack there. I like that you just name dropped so casually that your cousin is Adam Frazier.
Yeah.
33 years old. Let's see, baseball. Does he still play for Pittsburgh?
No, he's been away from there. That's who he got drafted by.
Okay.
Kind of came up through the majors, through their minor system, which coincidentally, cool thing for me was their AAA team is the Indianapolis Indians. So
okay.
he was actually in Indianapolis for a while there. Got to see him before it was a very short amount of time because he got pulled up to Pittsburgh pretty quick. And he was an all-star one year in his last year for Pittsburgh.
Awesome.
So yeah, and then he got traded to San Diego. He was in Baltimore for a little while. This past season, he was in Kansas City. So, yeah.
Well,
I saw a report that he might be going back to Pittsburgh. So I'm hoping that's the case because if he does, then he gets to play. He's in the same division as like the St. Louis Cardinals and the Cincinnati Reds, which are both 3 hours away from me, very close. So I get more opportunities to watch him.
Okay, sorry.
Right on. And guys, for the listeners and viewers out there, we are having some technical difficulties with one of our co-hosts here. So she may be popping in and out. Carolyn, microphone check.
I'm here.
It is literally saying that you are 8% uploaded now. 0%. It was 8%. Now it's
Oh no.
Now it's 8% again. So 8% uploaded.
Oh god.
Well, Carolyn, if let's try. Can you like? Is it delayed? Oh yeah, it's delayed.
Let me 1 second.
Okay. We might have to do some editing. No big deal.
Yeah.
No sweat. No sweat. Carolyn did do you were in Houston, right, Carolyn?
She
You did
was
the half, right?
She did the half marathon.
Yeah.
I have a couple friends that did the full. I think went out there for it.
We had a new American record on both men's and women's side, right? In the half there.
For the half marathon? Yeah, for the half marathon. I thought.
No, for the half, yeah.
Okay.
Connor Mance set the world record, or set the American record. Right, he ran 59:17.
Previously held by Ryan Hall.
Ryan Hall. But then the women's record got broken too, right? I apologize to all the females out there. I just don't follow women's marathon running the way I do men, but I'm fairly confident that went down, right?
I believe it did. But yeah, I did see that the men's half marathon record was broken, which is pretty cool because Ryan's held that for a while. You know, he's early 2000s is when he broke it.
So yeah, it was that it was Kaladi. She broke the ran 106.25. I think.
And emphasize that's the American
American
record that
record,
was
yeah,
broken, not a
women, yeah.
world record. But Carolyn, that's pretty cool because you got to be there for some records.
I did. And I take credit because every race that I have run, a record has been broken. Like, I mean, at Chicago, last year was when Kiptum had the world record, or yeah. This year was Connor Mance. So yeah, I'm on a streak. Very exciting.
Yeah, and your video and your audio is working again. So
There we go. Yeah, you're back on track.
Yay!
Woo! All right.
Yay!
So you were there. You were in Houston. You did the half marathon, right?
I did. It was 30 degrees with 35-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So It was crazy.
Yeah, I have a friend that ran it. He ran pretty good. I think he did 2:49. But he said he was double gloving it the whole entire time.
Yep.
We're from Florida. Come on. We don't train in that weather at all.
I mean, I was training. I mean, even in Texas, like I was in 2 shirts, gloves, fleece-lined leggings, and I was still cold. And it didn't hit you until mile 8 when you turned around and headed back into the downtown area, and you just got hit with all this wind. So, I mean,
right. And he said that he mentioned something about the wind too, like that it was
it was really bad.
pretty brutal. I wanted to see. He said 3 separate times on the course I worried my day would be coming to an end. 15-mile-per-hour headwinds from miles 11 through 18. He talks about the cold. I double gloved it the entire way there. He actually ran a 2:48 is what he ran. So he still PR'd. That was a 5-minute and 11-second PR that he did there. But the cold weather was all anyone that did Houston from Florida talked about.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great day to PR, and I love that course. Like, that's my favorite full marathon course, my favorite half marathon course. Like, the crowd support was great. But yeah, it was a little chilly.
Well,
It's cold down there. You guys might want to invest in a Udi.
yeah, let's talk about that for a second. I honestly thought it was a Scooby-Doo one because just based on what I saw.
So this is my Udi. This is my Udi. It's just it's a giant oversized hoodie that I mean it's like fleece lined, and
Wow.
I tell you what, guys, you have no idea how cozy I am right now. No, in all reality, and it is a soft plug for Udi because thank you for sending me this. I know you guys probably get the same things that I do, right? Like we make content. I do running reviews a lot of times, so I do get spam emails a lot from like different products that are like, "Hey, we want to collab with you," and
Yep.
I'll look at them a lot, and as soon as I see that it's not something running related, I just discard it. However, coming off of Disney this year, right? Disney, it was cold, right? We talked about that in the last episode. People were wearing, layers of sweats. They were wearing bathrobes. And like, I came out of that just wishing I had a nice, big, fluffy bathrobe. And it was literally like the day I got home, I had an email from this company called Udi. And this is giant, oversized fleece sweatshirts. And I was just like, you know what? I'm 40 years old now. I don't care about looks or style or anything. I just want to be comfortable. And like my office is in my basement too, so it's pretty chilly down here. I actually, thanks to my Udi, I don't have to have my space heater on for this episode. So I'll tell you what, I'm so cozy right now. I love it. And I do have a discount code and a link too that I'll post in the bio of this. But I'm telling you guys, this thing is the most comfortable. I've never been so cozy in my life. It's great.
I gotta tell you, I love that you plugged the 40-year-old thing in there too. So, I'm 44, guys. For those of you that are listening, Chase is officially a Masters runner now. So
Damn, yeah.
we're both ancient, and Carolyn's the baby of the group. I felt really my age. This happened a couple of times, and I was actually joking about it. I have a truck. I climbed into the back of my truck, so I keep a cooler in there, and I was adjusting the cooler that was in the back of my truck. And I swear, I could not figure out how to get down from my truck. I had to like map out. It's no, when I was in my 20s, I could like backflip off my truck. It wouldn't even faze me, right? Now it's like, how do I get down without breaking my knees? Like, what am I gonna do? So I'm getting on my knees, I get to my butt, and then I climb down my truck. I was like, yep, yeah, I'm old. This is a real thing now. You'll face it one of these days, Carolyn.
Not necessarily like an old thing, and I apologize if it's like a TMI situation for you guys, but I don't know exactly what's going on right now, but I've got something on my like left side kidney area. I'm hoping that all it is like a pulled muscle, but I think it's a kidney stone. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I had some blood work and stuff done yesterday and a urine sample. So like there's no blood in my urine or anything yet. But this morning when I woke up, I was in a lot of pain, and I actually had there was a moment where I was like delirious from it. Like I was like tripping or something. So a little worried, and I don't know that that's necessarily an old thing, but I've never had a kidney stone before, and
I think you're going to
fall apart.
You're potentially going to experience your first kidney stone, and it's not going to be fun. Not for your first one. Not for your first one. You guys, I know I've given myself a hard time because I've passed stones 4 times now. So I've had kidney stones 4 times. It's been a couple.
I'm in the beginning stages. Like I said, I don't know yet, but
well, that's how it starts. That's it. Yeah. For all runners out, and runners are the most prone to kidney stones. They are because they sweat a lot. Runners sweat a lot of nutrients out, and if we're not replacing those nutrients, your kidney's working on overdrive, your liver's working on overdrive, and so you're bound to get kidney stones. It's part of life. But kidney stones, it starts with that. It starts with you feeling sore. And I remember my first time feeling like, oh man, I think I'm just like, I'm stretching out my muscles, doing hip flexors, things like that. And then it progresses. And then I describe it as feeling like I have a giant bruise there after a certain amount of time. And then you'll get to a point where you'll wake up one night at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and you'll start getting this piercing pain. You'll start losing your breath because you can't breathe, because every time you breathe, your stomach expands. And when your stomach expands, it puts pressure on the kidney. And it gets to a point where a grown man turns into a little baby. It's going to happen.
Like I said, I'm not looking forward to it if that's the case, but it's definitely leaning that way. Like I said, I went to the doctor. They did some blood work. Nothing definitive yet. The first doctor thought it was just a muscle thing, but like I woke up today, and like I said, that deliriousness was weird. Like
you don't get blood showing. Like blood won't show up until the stone has started to transfer into your urinary tract.
Right.
Right now, it's probably sitting in your kidney, and it won't show on any blood results. It'll show on what do you call it? An ultrasound. That's where you have to see it.
I did get they did order a X-ray for me if I want to take advantage of it. Yeah. So
and even an X-ray might not show it depending on where it's located. It's because again, for someone that's been through it, It's I hate. Let's turn this into a medical podcast, guys. But I do consider myself a kidney stone expert. So I have passed quite a few of them. And then what's great is when, because there's nothing they can do. They basically tell you, like, good luck. They give you a muscle relaxer to help kind of expand your muscles and let you pass the urine or the kidney stone. But that's all they do. It's like, good luck. Go home and like pass the kidney stone. That's all and they tell you to drink a ton of water, and then you're nervous every time you go to the bathroom, and they give you a strainer because they're going to ask you to catch the stone, and then you have to turn it in. And so they can analyze how the stone was developed, and they can tell you what you need to change. So this has been fun, guys.
Yep.
Not what I planned on talking about for this episode 47 of RunTok Live.
But no, in all seriousness, Jake, you did kind of hit the nail on the head, right? Like, we sweat a lot, right? And going back to it, there's been a few things, right? I can kind of talk about my diet here a little bit. I'm taking a break this year, right? I've been pretty vocal about that. I'm not really going to be hardcore training for anything. So since Disney, I really haven't ran a whole lot. I've done some working out, but I haven't ran a whole lot. I've upped my protein intake. So I've been making sure that I'm hitting my protein numbers on a day-to-day basis. At the end of the day, for the past few months, really, I would say that I haven't been getting enough water. And as our good friend Keith Brantley would say, the solution to pollution is dilution.
Yep.
And I'm pretty confident that, I'm sure there's other contributing factors, but the reality is I have not been drinking as much water as I should be, or at least as I used to.
Yep. And it also depends on what are you drinking. Are you drinking sodas? Are you like sodas are the worst thing. Sodas and energy drinks, like those are. And as someone that used to be a heavy soda drinker, that's the worst of it. And then salty foods. So if you're doing any kind of salty foods, that's also a contributor to it. Greasy foods, I guess, not necessarily salty, but greasy, fatty foods. Something that forces your liver to work more.
And that's another thing too. Like I've been, like these last few days, I've not been able to get enough water. Like I'm just so thirsty all the time.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious to know how it turns out. And
we'll see. I don't know. I'll let you know.
see if you experience.
Hopefully that's all it is. But
so here's my fun illustration. I always do this. That's a marble. That's a kidney stone, and it's called the spiky ball of death. That's what makes you bleed. It's actually the spikes, because it tears up your urinary tract when it passes through it. That's the only reason you're bleeding, because your urinary tract's getting tore up.
I don't think I'm gonna sleep tonight, Jake.
Just sleep with your little strainer. It'll be fine.
I don't have it yet. I haven't gone to get the muscle relaxers.
Well, and then what's funny is if they do see it, they'll be able to tell you how big it is, and they'll be like, "Oh, it's 3 millimeter or whatever it is." Like, and you'll hear that, and you're like, "Oh, that's not a big number." Well, I don't want to get too graphic, but remember, your pee hole is this big, and that 3 millimeters is about to pass through that thing. It's going to hurt. So good luck, and yes, I said pee hole on podcast. It's all right.
I'm actually kind of scared to keep drinking water now. I don't even want to pee.
Try, man. Get you some Gatorade.
Next episode, we'll be talking about colonoscopies, everybody. So stay tuned for that one.
Stay tuned.
And nobody tunes in.
So except for the 40-year-olds that are all scheduled for their first colonoscopy. So.
Oof.
It'd be interesting to know, anybody who's listening, I would love to hear any kidney stone marathon race stories. Has anybody ran a marathon with a kidney stone or while passing a kidney stone? I want to hear about that. Somebody in the comments and tell us a story.
Never ran a marathon. I've trained. You guys know I had kidney stones not too long ago when we talked about it on here.
last year, right?
So, and you guys all gave me a hard time because the night before I posted a video about eating McDonald's, and, and the next day I'm like, oh, I got kidney stones, guys. So good stuff. Don't eat McDonald's.
Yeah.
No.
And I saw Keith Brantley talking about him. I saw him last weekend. So we had the Matanzas 5K here, which is our largest 5K. 5K course record went down. 13:54 was the course record, or is the new course record. Freaking incredible. You'll be proud of this, Carolyn. The Brooks racing team comes down and they do the Matanzas race every year, both men and women. But Keith Brantley was there because a couple of his athletes he was coaching was there. So I talked to him for a second.
So speaking of Brooks, they've signed a bunch of athletes recently. Did y'all see that?
They got rid of you ambassadors, you lowly little ambassadors, so that they could make room for the big names, right?
Still a little bitter, but but they on to bigger and better. Josh Kerr signed a long-term extension with Brooks, so watch out for him. Who else? They signed Alafine. They signed who else?
You know who they didn't sign?
I've seen them. I know they've been busy.
You don't wear Brooks, Jake.
They didn't sign Jake Irwin. I can tell you that. They didn't sign Chase Adams.
I think he'll be all right.
So.
But yeah, no, they've been on a signing spree. So I think they're going to be insane when it comes to the World Championships.
Did you guys see the most recent Josh Kerr talking about Jakob Ingebrigtsen and Grand Slam track?
No,
but I'm going to look it up right now.
Yeah. So the question, he was on an interview, right? He was in an interview, and the question was why Jakob Ingebrigtsen, why he thought Jakob wasn't in the mix in Grand Slam track. And Josh Kerr kind of said the same thing I did, he's like, well, what's he going to do? Is he going to be the short distance or is he going to be the long distance? Because, he runs the 1500 with us, but we're also going to be running the 800. And he was like, I think it'd be hilarious to see Jakob Ingebrigtsen running at 800. And as he just basically talked trash about his sprinting ability, he basically said that if they went out and ran an 800, then the other guys that are in the event would just smoke him so bad it'd be ridiculous. Just talking, doing his thing. He talks a bunch of trash about him. So,
which is not wrong either.
He's not wrong. No, he's not. And I said it too. Like Jakob Ingebrigtsen would probably fit better in the 3,000, 5,000 event than he would the 1,500 and the 800 event. But yeah, it's just funny seeing him talk his trash.
I just love seeing rivalries like this in the running world. It does make it fun. It makes it watchable.
Yeah, and I think that's really, that's a cool thing that Grand Slam track wanted to do, right? Like they wanted to kind of create these rivalries. So still annoyed that they didn't get Jakob Ingebrigtsen or Noah Lyles, but
yeah.
But still, like they've still got some big names. It's still going to be something new and fun to watch. So we'll see how it goes.
Did they get Nagoose?
Yeah, he's in the 815 with Josh Kerr, Cole Hawker, Yair Nagoose, and the guy from Canada. I can't remember his name.
Okay. I mean, Cole Hawker, I'll watch anything that he does. I love that.
I think that event is going to come down. I'd like to see Yair Nagoose in the 800. I don't think that, Josh Kerr talked a lot of crap about Jakob, but I'm not so sure that Nagoose has that 800 speed. So I'll be interested to see that. Please prove me wrong, my Notre Dame guy. But I think that event's going to come down to Cole Hawker and Josh Kerr.
You know what I want to see? If I were to make up a race for a similar event, you know how like in high school they used to do like the alumni versus the regular team, like in basketball is like the alumni versus the current team. I'd love to see that in running. Like I'd love to see the bison competing in the 800 again. But give them a handicap. Give them a 20-meter head start or something along those lines. Like do something where you bring all the former Olympians from said event and have them race against the current young bucks and make it fair, because those former Olympians, they're not going to race at that level right now, but do something, give them a head start or some sort of handicapped or something like that, and do a fun race and do it as a fundraiser, if anything, like do something. But it'd be neat to see those guys run again and do it against young guys.
Yeah, that could be fun. I think it'd be fun to see, like, and the sprinters would never go for this especially, but to see on like a wider range of events, see a 200 guy go up against a miler, and then they switch events, and then 3,000 guy and a 400, something like that. Could get interesting.
Who do you think has a better chance of performing the best? The sprinter doing a mile, or the miler doing like a 100-meter runner doing a mile, or a miler doing a 100-meter?
Aggregate time, it would be the miler.
You think so?
Aggregate time, yeah. Because you got to think like say we do a 200, right? What are they going to run? The miler's probably going to run 23, maybe. Probably faster than that. But 20, even if it's 23 at the worst, right? What's the 200 guy going to run a mile at? So the 200 guy is going to run a 19-second 200. The miler is going to run a 23-second 200. 4-second difference. So in a mile, the mile guy is going to run 3:55. The 200 guy is going to run 5 minutes.
5 something,
4:30. Big thing. So it couldn't be aggregate, right? Like that wouldn't be fair per se, but yeah, I think the miler does better in the 200 than the 200 guy does in the mile.
Carolyn, I have a random question. Well, this for both of you. You're both told that you have to do a track or a field event, so a non-running event. What field event are you doing? You can only do one, Carolyn.
Ooh. Something with throwing, because you can just take all your rage out. Like,
well, you got a bunch. So what throwing event you doing? Javelin, shot, disc, hammer?
I'm thinking hammer. Just chuck the thing, man. And then you
spin around a bunch of times. My whole thing with the hammer is I'd end up like spinning around, getting dizzy, and I'd throw it in a direction and hit somebody.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, don't you have to spin for a shot put as well?
Well, the proper form,
yeah. Controlled. Yeah. I think that, so I would, if I could do it, I would do pole vault. Like that would be the most fun. Like if I could pick one and have to do it, but I'd probably be the best at like javelin. I think I'd be the best at javelin.
Yeah, I would do javelin would be the one that I'd want to do, but I think I would do the best. Well, not now at my age, so javelin would probably be the one. I did high jump actually in high school and in community college, and I wasn't great, but I wasn't horrible. So I would choose high jump because of my familiarity with it. I would choose javelin because it would be the most translatable skill set. Heaven forbid the technology ends tomorrow and I still know how to do javelin. I can go hunting. All right. So it's a translatable skill set.
Fair point.
Of course, you could probably say the same for hammer and anything, throwing a 8-pounder, 12. I don't know. What do you throw for shot put? Is it 12 for men?
Well, Google.
I just remember I threw a women's shot put one time in high school, and everybody laughed at me because I was thinking it was the men's, and it was the heaviest thing in the world.
Men's is 16 pounds or 7.26 kilograms, and the women's is 8.82 pounds or 4 kilograms.
Okay. Well, I have zero muscle, and that 8 pounds feels really heavy. So. All right, so javelin, huh? Javelin and pole vault would be fun too. I just know I would be horrible at it. I just would never be good enough to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think it'd be so fun, but yeah, I don't know that I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Mondo, he's gonna be back in. He signed up for his first race of the year, though. I can't remember which one he was going to, but
Yeah.
the one person that makes the pole vaulting exciting, guy who goes out and breaks his own world record time after time after time.
How old is he now?
Late 20s maybe.
Okay, I thought he was in his 30s, but yeah.
Maybe
So he still got more.
College. He was in college with Sha'Carri Richardson, so
Okay.
he was at LSU with her.
Well, yeah, he's definitely got more than.
Yeah, he's 25.
25 years old.
Yeah, he's 25 and he's already broken his own world record like 9 times. How many times do you think he's going to be like Katie Ledecky in swimming by the time it's all done? Katie Ledecky owns the like top 25 fastest mile times for female swimmer. He's going to own like the top 25 highest pole vaulting heights in history.
Yep. It'll be one of those records that'll be unbreakable until it gets broken, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do we even have any records left that are like not reachable right now? You know, anything that's still standing from, that's been standing for a long time. Mile maybe, because I don't think we still don't have the new mile record.
And mile and the 1500. I mean, it's Camille Garouche, right?
Mhm.
Still.
Have any of Bolt's records fallen?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so, but I don't think we're far off from those though.
Yeah.
Though, I mean, those will be broken over the next, probably 6 to 8 years. But, and I'm talking world. I mean, I guess a record's a record, whether it's a world record, American record. Like I thought Ryan Hall's American record was going to stand for a while longer, I should say. It's been standing for a while, but it got broken, and Carolyn got to be there for the race that it happened at.
I did. I finished about an hour behind Connor Mance. So who had more fun? Okay, Connor or me? All right.
Well, Connor probably got a bigger paycheck than you did from it, so
He is unreal.
So Camille Garouche's mile world record is 3:43.
okay.
His 1500 is. Oh, I just had it. Pretty good.
So Jakob Ingebrigtsen is the closest to have gotten to that world record.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And what's crazy is he still didn't break it with all the advancement that we've had. Like now they have the lights that they can chase right around the track. That this is the record light. Like, and it's still held for that long. That's how powerful. And we didn't have the super shoes and everything that they have back then as well too.
So Jakob is actually 4th on the list.
Is he 4th? So who's ahead of him?
So Hikem El Garouche is the world record, 3:26 flat. Second place is Bernard Lagat, 3:26.34. And then third place we got Asbel Kiprop, 3:26.69. And then we got Jakob in 3:26.73.
And that's the mile?
That's the 1500.
That's insane.
Yeah. Cole Hawker's 7th on that list with his win in Paris this year.
I'm trying to do the math. That's what, 51 seconds per lap, right? For the 3:26? Yeah, it would have to be 9, 18, 27, 36. Yeah, 51 and change because it's a true mile that they do on the track. So call it 50.5 seconds per lap.
Bonkers.
Yeah.
Bonkers. Yep. Cole Hawker is the top American on the list, and Jared Naguse is number 9 right behind it. So yeah, it's 7, 8, and 9 is Hawker, Kerr, Naguse.
I mean, we've got the group of runners right now that are I mean, I think this is the group that could do it between Jakob, Kerr, Hawker, Nagoose. Any of those four could do it, but it's going to be an uphill battle for sure. And when you think about, yeah, I mean, those times aren't that far off, right? They're a couple seconds off, whatever it is, but a couple seconds in the mile at that speed is a lot of time. Like that's a lot of work to get those couple seconds off.
I mean, the top 5 were all within like a half a second. So yeah. So
and people don't realize it. Like, okay, half a second, like that's a crap ton of work to do that. Like they were giving it their all. So
so there was another interview that I saw here recently, and I know I'm not trying to take over all the news, but with Matt Centrowitz, where he was talking about his gold medal in 16. And basically he was trying to say, and I like Centro, don't get me wrong, but I think he was trying to say that like the reason that his 2016 time was so slow was because back then they didn't train for fast times, they trained for strategy. So, he's basically trying to say that he never actually tried to run fast. So
I would disagree because
I would say so too. I think there was a little bit of negativity in there, and he catches a lot of flack for his gold medal, right? It was a 3:53. I think he won in 3:50 because it was a pedestrian pace. They crawled the first 3 laps and then dead sprinted the last one. So I'm sorry, buddy, but these guys are doing stuff that's way more impressive than what you did.
Yeah, I was like, Jakob Ingebrigtsen would like a word.
Yeah.
Because that was the ultimate strategy.
That's what he was saying. He's like, no, they train differently nowadays. And I'm not saying that they don't. And in distance running, you definitely have to take strategy into account.
Oh, yeah.
But to try and make it sound like the only reason you weren't as fast as they are now is because you train differently. I mean, it's just kind of a silly statement. It just had a lot of negativity to it,
especially for that distance, like for the mile, for the 1500. Like at the end of the day, it's an all guts race. Like there is like if you're talking about a marathon, there's more strategy in a marathon than there is in the mile. The mile is guts. The mile is who's willing to hurt the most, who's willing. Yes, you make some moves. Yes, there's some chess pieces involved there, but it's a pure, what we consider a sprint for 4 laps. Like that's basically what it is.
Be, right? Like, again, going back to 16, that race, they allowed it to unfold the way that it did.
Yep.
Everybody was, for some reason, everybody thought they had the best kick in that race, and Centro was the one that came out on top. But nowadays, like what these guys are doing, they're running that last lap that they ran in that Olympics 4 times.
Well, and if he's saying that, and it's true. If he's saying that about every other race that's ever happened besides for that one race that he did. Because no other race, at least at that level, is happening. Like, yeah, you go to college. I'm sure they do stuff like that. But you talk about Olympics, you talk about Olympic trials, all that stuff. It's an all-guts race.
Yeah.
That race is the exception. And for him to be like, oh, this is how we did it back in the day. Like, no, you did it at that race that one time. And here we are.
Yeah, I just felt like there was a little bit of jealousy in his answer in that. So, if you're listening to this, Matt Centrowitz, I apologize if that's not the case. You are a gold medal winner. I am not. If you are listening to this, please share and like and tell all your friends.
At the end of the day, he can beat us in a race. I'm very confident.
He can beat me yeah. I'm sure he can beat me in a 200-meter, no problem.
It's kind of like, and I hate to throw other sports, but I think of like Deion Sanders and Terrell Owens. It was like very cocky, albeit retired football players now that are still like, yeah, I can go out there and smoke Odell Beckham Jr. any time of the day, like blah blah blah. Like, no, you can't. Like, oh, back in my day, we did things differently, and like, no, it's not the same. They're they're fast. They're good. They're good at what they do. Accept it.
Yep.
So
He also called Hobbs Kessler. He also called his shot for the next Olympics. He says he's going to be the gold medal winner in the next Olympics.
Hobbs Kessler.
Yeah, not a bad guess. Got what, 5th this year? And
I don't think it's going to be
Hopper
Hobbs.
got 6th in the last Olympics and won this one. So
I think it's going to be. We're talking about the mile again, or what are we talking about?
1500 at the next Olympics, the LA Olympics.
Or the 1500. Yeah, so it's going to be, in my opinion, it's going to go very similar to what it went down this last year, because it's going to be the same group of people, at least for the top 6 or 7.
Yeah, and Hobbs Kessler was a part of that. So
Yeah. I don't think he'll win it though. Again, it's too early to tell. We're very early.
Man, I've been dogging Hobbs Kessler since he decided to forego college, and I thought it was the wrong move. But he's proved me wrong at every turn. So it's just one of those situations where maybe I'm just going to have to keep guessing against him, and he's just going to have to keep proving me wrong.
Guys, are we all shooting our shot and trying to get a ticket to the Olympics in LA this go around?
Yeah.
Funny story, actually. I've applied to be a volunteer
Did you?
at the Olympics, so I'm waiting to get the application or the further details.
Do you know, like, you don't know where or what you'd be volunteering doing? I mean,
No.
I'll do it. I don't care. My dream would be to volunteer on the marathon course as something, right? Or track and field.
Is you have to be able to be in LA for the whole 10 days. You have to find lodging, flights, stuff like that. But I'm like, shoot.
I work remotely. I got family down there. I can make it happen.
Right? And it's summer, so sign me up. Shoot. But I think there's a lengthy process too. Like,
Well, now you got me. Is it too late? I want to apply.
No.
I want to do it.
It's not too late. I applied for, where is it? I'll have to look it up and give you further details, but I think it's too early. No, it's too early. Sorry. So sign up to get emails on the LA 2028 website, because they just announced volunteer applications for the 2026 Winter Olympics. So make sure that you're subscribed to their emails and get their newsletter, and then they'll release the volunteer application when it gets closer.
Okay. I'm down.
Yeah. So I actually am on the list or wait list or whatever, getting their newsletter, all the things. So for any listener, if you want to volunteer, just go on the la28.org page, sign up for the newsletter. And yeah.
That'd be awesome. That'd be a cool thing to be a part of.
Right.
Heck yeah. Like, I don't care. I'll be your janitor. I'll clean your porta potties. Like, just let me go.
Right.
I'll do whatever you want me to do.
Yeah. It's not a problem. And then I also am waiting. So I want to apply to run the torch, when it comes through Dallas. So waiting for that too. So we're getting involved, man.
Fun.
Well, RunTok Live should apply for that. We all live in different states, so
yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah,
I have to share my bit of good news. I think I kind of shared this with you guys before, but now it's official in email format. The team that I race for, we're going to be sponsored, or we're sponsored now by OnCloud. They're our new sponsor, so we're being invited to OnCloud dinner on February 13th. We're going to get our OnCloud singlets, our team singlets, our OnCloud shoes, which we're all fitted for shoes, and our OnCloud shorts. And those will be, you guys have seen my pictures in the race jerseys we wear currently, which is by Brooks, unfortunately. We're bouncing out of Brooks, Carolyn, and we're going to OnCloud.
Yeah, Carolyn's bouncing out of Brooks too.
So actually,
Carolyn got bounced out of Brooks. My bad.
I did. But no, that's cool because On is just released their ambassador application. So now do you get gear and stuff from On?
Yeah, so only the elite team we are sponsored. So we're going to get free shoes, a singlet, which will have our First Place Sports Elite Team. That's the name of our team, First Place Sports. Attached to that. And then we'll get shorts too, I guess we're getting as well. Plus, I'm sure we'll get some other fun gear like bags and things like that. But they're taking us out to dinner. We're going bowling with them. So they said no +1s were allowed. They're like, no +1s, just the elite team. They're like, okay, well, I get it. But I'm pretty excited about it. I've actually never, I don't want to say I've never ran in on-cloud shoes. I have, but I've never taken the shoes seriously, where I've like trained in them consistently. So, I'll do that. I'm still going to race in the shoes that I race in, which is typically Vapors or Alphas, but, free pair of on-clouds. I'll test them out. And
yeah, I've definitely wanted. I've never ran in some on clouds, but the changes that they've made in the past few years, right, has got the running community talking.
Yeah.
I really, really considered the monsters. At one point, like they were in my box. So, just haven't done it yet. So I'd be interested to hear your opinions on them, Jake.
Yeah, I've tested some before. We did a race. I think I told you guys maybe it was a year ago. It was like a relay race that OnCloud sponsored, and we got to test out their shoes for that little. It was a little 5K race that we did. And again, they were shoes. Like I didn't hate them. There's only been one brand with shoes that I always called out that I hate. So.
Who's your favorite on-cloud athlete?
I have no idea.
Aaron the Goose, man. Come on.
Aaron the Goose?
Goose is loose, dude.
Was he on cloud? I didn't even know that. I just assumed he was Nike.
No, man. The Goose is loose.
Oh.
On the cloud.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, see.
Aaron the Goose, Ollie Hoare, Morgan McDonald, I think now is.
I'm going to have to look it up now. I honestly had no idea who Nagoose was.
Yeah.
I literally thought he was a Nike athlete.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Jared Nagoose.
Mario Garcia.
Yeah.
Jared Nagoose. Morgan McDonald. Sage. Klecker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they got a pretty decent team.
They got some. Who did my guy? I can't think of his name now. We just talked about him. He went to the Olympics for the 10,000. Did horrible. Famous high school runner.
Hobbs?
No, Nick Nolte. Nah.
Nick Nolte?
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, why can't I think of his name? I've always said that I love his name, or I love him, and that he always has that I'm in pain run, no matter what run he does.
Oh, Nico.
Nico Young. Thank you. Yeah. Who did he recently sign? Because he signed with someone.
New Balance?
Is that who it was?
I think he signed. Did he sign with New Balance? Nico Young.
It hit Instagram. Let me see. Who did he sign with?
Adidas.
Adidas.
Yep. Mm-hmm. There it is.
Is Graham Blanks is the one that signed with New Balance, I think.
Man, Nico Young has a nice jawline. Wow.
But
I mean,
watch Nico Young when he runs. He looks like he is in pure pain from the start to the end of the race, no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's just how he always looks. Nico, he is someone, he's still super young, so he's someone I'm excited to see what he does in his first Olympic appearance. He's got more in front of him, so he can stay injury free.
Did he win the 5? He won the 5 this year, right? Or was it 10 that he won?
For the Olympics?
NCAAs.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah. He won the 5. He qualified for 10, like he was top 3. But he did horrible when I don't want to say he did horrible, but he didn't run great at the Olympics.
I'm just saying, like, that's kind of been his thing through college, right? He's never really won the big race. He was never a national champion, I think, one time last year in outdoor track.
Mhm.
But I think other than that, he's always just he's never stepped up for the big race. I could be wrong there. I might be off, but I think that's kind of the knock on him.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
His twin brothers, Lex and Leo, they're still at Stanford, I think.
Hmm.
I don't think they're quite as good. They don't have the same kind of talent level that he does, but
Leo,
they're part of that Newberry Park high school team.
Yeah.
well, Leo just is on the On team.
Oh, is he?
Is what
They signed. Yeah, they signed with On
Okay.
for NIL. I don't know. Did they go pro?
Yeah.
I don't think they actually went pro yet, but they did for NIL.
Well, because they can't.
No,
Yeah, they can't. It'd have to be NIL.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it is Stanford. So
So,
very cool.
I think have we talked about NIL on here with track athletes before? We ever
we
go
haven't.
down that rabbit hole?
No.
We should definitely. I don't know if we have time to do it tonight, but we should definitely make that a subject.
Yeah, we should do a talk about NIL a little bit and how it is on the college track scene. Because I had a discussion actually with some people where somebody actually came to me and asked, they were like, do they do the NIL in track? And I was like, yeah, actually. And what I said was, it's really like an internship for these runners more than it is for like the football players,
the basketball players, yeah.
It's an individual sport for the most part, right? I know there's teams involved, but for the most part, they're an individual that's signing an NIL deal, and it's basically an audition, right, to get a pro contract with them afterwards. So,
well, it allows them to get some compensation and get some money out of it too.
Yeah.
You know, which before you couldn't accept even at the college level.
mm-hmm.
So it just legalizes it essentially and makes it easier for recruiting too. You know, depending on the school. So I don't know. My daughter's going to go whatever school is going to be the best running school when she graduates. That's where I'm sending her to. I don't think it'll be Baylor at that point in time, but we'll see. Maybe it'll be back here in Gainesville,
Nike
Florida.
NIL deal or bust, right?
Yeah, I was like Oregon, maybe.
Here, everyone. I mean, Gainesville, Florida. What is that? Florida State or Florida University? Like it's a huge running school, but not as popular as it was like 15 years ago. You know, when
Parker Valby. That's where Parker Valby's from.
Mm-hmm.
And she signed with New Balance, and I was really surprised by that because she had the Nike NIL deal with while she was at Florida. She had those sweet gator spikes that she wore in that one race. She had the Vaporfly spikes that they custom made for in the other race. And then she turns around and goes New Balance. So
well, do you think Nike didn't offer her a contract?
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what all goes into it and what all influences people's, where they sign with. I think coaches probably have a lot to do with it too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think with Nike, like you're required to, for a certain period of your training, you're actually required to be at the Nike Center, right, in Oregon. And so that can throw a lot of people off if you aren't willing to relocate or move out there.
Right. And for whatever reason, we don't know all the details, but a lot of athletes left the Bowerman Track Club last year. So
a lot, especially on the women's side.
Yeah, for whatever reason, they did. So I don't know what's
Hoka,
going on there, but that's what's happening.
Yeah, well, Hoka dropped a lot of athletes too.
Did they?
Well, Hoka dropped them.
Yeah.
Nike, the athletes left them.
They were like, nah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And I don't know. I hear a lot of stories, and you know, I don't know what's true and what's not true, but they left for a reason. You know, there's a reason why they left. So.
Well, we were able to actually get some progress here tonight. Now that Carolyn finally stopped pixelating for us. So
I know. I didn't get to talk about like the whole Houston thing. I got to run with Molly Seidel.
Oh yeah.
Tell you that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went to a shakeout run the day before Houston, And Molly was there, and I got to run with her and talk to her and hang out with her, and she is absolutely amazing.
And so, what episode will we have her on as a guest?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
I've established a connection. Okay. So we're waiting. She did tell me she's training in Austin right now. So it'll be interesting to see what she's.
Popular spot these days.
It is. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, Carolyn, it's your turn to bring in a big name. I mean, Chase brought in the biggest name
I know.
that people know nowadays. I brought in a former big name.
Former Olympian, yeah.
So you're on deck, Carolyn.
Do my best.
All right, guys. Well, it's 10 o'clock here on the East Coast, and where Chase is also.
Yeah.
Which is I guess.
I'll go 5 minutes the other way, and I'll be on Carolyn's time.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's hard for me to like consider you East Coast because I have to fly to the West to get to you.
I'm Midwest, man.
Yeah, you're Midwest, Carolyn Central.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say, guys? We'll wrap it up and talk about that some college deals and some college talk next time.
Carolyn, where are they going to find us at?
You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, all under RunTok Live. You can email us at runtalklive@gmail.com. Let's see. You can find me on Instagram at Carolyn M. Levinway and TikTok while it's still here at Carolyn McDuff. Chase, where can people find you?
Basically anywhere. Chaser, no pacer. Yep, right now that's all I got for you. Don't forget to check out your Udi. Jake, what about you?
You can find me at The Culture Runner and all social media platforms, primarily TikTok, which is not going anywhere. You heard it here first. Prediction of 2025. TikTok is here to stay, guys.
Jake's going to put in a bid to buy TikTok.
I sure am. I got about $130 in my Venmo right now, and I'm going to make good use of that.
All right, everybody. We'll see you on TikTok while we can.
All right.
Adios.
Peace.
Deuces.